All right, so this is the second run of trying to do a mukbang. This time we're doing Hispanic food according to the aisles in which I got this stuff. Some of this I did have to prepare on the stovetop, but I prefer to do these as the freezer foods. And look, I know this is not gonna be the same as what you people eat at home if you're a regular eater of Hispanic food. That's sort of the idea here. I briefly entertained the notion of trying to speak the Spanish I learned in high school, what little of it remains in my head, and use that as an example of like this is the Spanish I gained from a year and a half in high school. I retain very little of it. It's not very accurate to what you would encounter on a regular basis, and I do it badly. In a lot of ways, this all is going to be very much like that. This is what big food manufacturers' interpretations of these foods are. Like the Korean food, that was all freezer food. This is all freezer food. This right now, I'm going to get a sense of what the impression is supposed to be of these things. And maybe at a later date, I will do some cooking of actual recipes of Korean, Hispanic, and some of these other foods. But for right now, some of this is like I'm familiar with the burritos. They're just sort of knockoff burritos. Um, but some of these I'd never heard of. I don't think I've ever had I guess that's an empanada, an enchilada, burritos, chimichangas. I guess they're calling these dos tacos. They don't strike me as over. And then these are yucca and fried plantain. I think that's most of what I found. And then, of course, I've got the nachos and chips, which actually is probably where I should start with. And like the salsa, it's not nachos, it's salsa. Um, the salsas I managed to acquire are ones that I'll start with this one. This is a Miss Renfro's peach salsa, mild. Now I had peach salsa years ago and I really enjoyed it. Is this a real thing? Like I realize that nobody's watching this. This will be played later out of the archives. But like comment, like comment and let me know like are there peach salsas in Hispanic countries? Well, I mean, I'm sure like you get what we get. This is not a big surprise. You're not some alien landscape of people who have never. You've probably had a Philly cheesesteak. You've probably had an American style burger with fries. You have probably had shrimp scampi and pizza. There's no surprise here for that. What I'm saying is, traditionally, is salsa done with a variety of other things like mango and peach and all those other things? Or is this us taking your stuff, doing it wrong, and not telling our own people that we're doing it in a weird way? I'm kind of genuinely curious. If you live in like Mexico, Honduras, or Ecuador, or any of those other countries where uh, traditional food styles would be more in this uh, Hispanic style, what are your salsas like? So this one's peach salsa. I do have another salsa. I'm not going to touch it till the end because it is the ghost pepper, which I'm sure is not native way of making salsa. But I kind of want to finish with that because I don't want to burn off my taste buds before I can actually taste the food. So I'll do peach salsa first. And I got Toto Post de Maize. Yeah, anyway. Again, it's sort of a tongue-in-cheek way of saying that Americans' impressions of these foods from other countries are always weird. American Chinese food is not Chinese food. American sushi is not sushi. American Korean food is not a Korean style food. American Greek food is not Greek food. Italian food, not Italian food. Mm, I like a healthy coating on that for me. Kind of watered down. And I'm not usually one to say that. That's I'm usually one whose diet for years was so bland that my taste buds are hypersensitive. I mean, when I make a taco meat with those stupid packets of taco seasoning, I use 1 packet of seasoning for 2.5 pounds of beef and mix in a whole can of regular refried beans with no flavoring, and that's about the right level of flavor concentration for me. So this salsa, it's pretty good, but I'm imagining for most other people, this would be really rather bland. Oh, and that reminds me. I didn't get one of those taco kits. This is this is all foods that are self-contained. These are not, like, oh yeah, this will make a whole meal if you just add this, and this to it. Like, I didn't go for a flavor pack and some taco shells, and I have to provide every other ingredient for it. I'm not doing that. I wanna I wanna try to experience the prepared food. And it's like, yeah, I could prepare a meal. I could dig up some recipes and make them myself, but that's not the point here. This is what do uh, lean cuisine and Jose Olay and what is that? Like the Market Basket? Or no, Hannaford's and uh, some of these other companies. What is their attempt to reflect Hispanic food? And then later, I'd love to give a chance to try to make real homemade versions of some of this. All right, that's pretty good. It is fairly mellow, but I think we're ready to move into the territory of the actual food here. So first, like a freezer burrito. I think the first one we need to do is we have bean and cheese. Oop, they're already getting kind of cold. That is what you get when you get a barely cooked, mushy, white flour tortilla, and you spread with a butter knife a very thin coating before you wad it up into a big pile of wet flour. It's just, that is all bread. Mm, it's like paste in my mouth. What the hell, guys? It looks like it all wadded in the middle, so there's a little more than just bread now. That's crazy. Where is the cheese? That's just refried beans stuffed into a piece of Wonder Bread and rolled up. I stand corrected. Not a piece of Wonder Bread, half a loaf of Wonder Bread. Mm, what the hell? Okay, so this is supposed to be beef and bean. Give me a little. Oh, there you go. A little other flavor. Still overwhelmingly that wet flour taste and a fair amount of bean. I think pretty much it's a given at this point that I with no background in making anything Hispanic, um, I I wouldn't call this Hispanic. This isn't Hispanic. This is American Hispanic. Could make better than this. I could do better than this with no experience. Actually, let me crack this open again. This bean and cheese. Where the hell's the cheese? That makes it somewhat tolerable. Do better, Hannafords. All right, beef and bean. It's not super bad on its own, but it's still a sad reflection. I think anybody who has any experience with Hispanic food should be moderately offended by that. So let's just dipping where I put my mouth. I do want to potentially share this with some friends. the salsa anyway. Mm. I gotta say, as much as it's a mild, weak salsa, it can save a bad burrito. Mm. All right, so I admit I'm kind of curious. I got some plantains that I had to fry myself. Not sure I did it right, but I was curious enough to try them because it's something I've never had before. And I'm sure I did them wrong. Huh. Very similar to like a scalloped potato without the cream sauce. Kind of like a hash brown. Now, this is probably going to bother somebody. I don't know. Do you put salsa on your? And probably not peach salsa. That probably offends you to some degree, and I'm sorry. I'm just exploring this food. In fact, please tell me if there's a way you prefer these kinds of things so that when I make the real thing, I can do it right. Okay, this is a lean cuisine spicy beef and bean enchilada. So let's see what that looks like. It's a microwave spicy bean and beef burrito or enchilada, whatever they want to call it. Ooh, that is not attractive. All right, so let's see what it's a mushy mess. All right, let's see. Made with that. Ooh, there you go. Got a little heat on that one. Ooh, spicy chili sauce with Mexican style rice. All right. Mexican style rice looks like a gravy on rice with beans. A little light on the shredded beef, but we're already miles ahead of that bean and cheese burrito thing. It's got a little heat to it. All right. Whew. Let's try that Mexican style rice. What makes this Mexican style? I mean, it's got some beans in it. Is that all that needs to be in there? Beans and corn. I mean, I'm being a little harsh on them. I mean, it's food, for one thing. I should be happy that I have a place in the world where I can easily access food. But I also feel that there's some unfortunate aspects of, and it's not just the US, but there's some unfortunate aspects of borrowing. I'm not sure we should use the word borrowing, but um, adopting something as if it's a representation of a culture when it's just some person's interpretation of a culture. One of the funniest examples of that I've seen is a friend in Germany who found it's sort of hilarious to go into the grocery store and see bottles marked as America sauce. And here, as I can tell, their America sauce is what Americans call a Russian dressing. But it's not Russian either. So somewhere this was made, and everybody's blaming everybody else for it. All right, so that wasn't bad. I can see potentially getting that meal every now and then. I feel like there's got to be a better way to do the enchilada so it's not so squishy. Leave a little bit of the firmness, but I mean, for a microwave lunch. All right, so Dos Tacos by Jose Ole. Is it me or is that mildly offensive? This is a rolled taco. Okay, so this is a queso chicken nacho taco rolled. Where do they get these ideas for this stuff? This isn't a real thing for you guys, is it? I mean, I imagine you guys do the similar thing to a lot of the bachelors I know, where, oh, we've got like five things in the fridge. Let's just slap that together into a sandwich and call it good. But is there such a thing as nacho chicken queso rolled tacos? Or is that just slapping together a lot of Mexican sounding words? More specifically, making slapping together a lot of Mexican style words to name a thing invented by some guy named Steve in a dorm room. Not being unfair. I'm sure they have some food engineer. They must hire a cook specifically to try to come up with new ways to use a certain set of ingredients they have. And then give it a little more style and grace than just saying, here's a little piece of bread with a bunch of cheese, some spices, and meat on it. Whew, starting to hit a wall here. I should probably try some of the yucca. This was weird. Like this was more complicated than I needed it to be for making something. It's sort of why I don't want to do a lot of meal prep because I'm going to get it wrong while I'm doing the rest of this. That feels sort of like a baked potato. I don't know what it's supposed to taste like, but that's like a baked potato for me. Sort of like French fries, like a steak fry. Oh, yeah, by the way, speaking of steak, this is supposed to be another one of those microwave burritos. But this one is supposed to be a what is it? Red hot beef. Well, I got mostly bean. Not a lot of red hot. And it's sort of a, unless this is a rawhide bone, where the skin of it is made out of the skin of a cow. I mean, it looks like a refried bean. Where's the beef? I can't believe I just said that. I cannot believe I just said, where is the beef? I want to try this while I still have the ability to keep going. These are a type of beef empanada, I believe. These are a freezer pack, so. Mm, that is not the most attractive interior. I'm being a little rough on that. It's not too dissimilar from some of what you see inside of like a dumpling. Maybe the enchilada dulled everything. I'm not getting a lot of flavor off of these guys. There is something there, though, isn't it? It's like some peppers, maybe some chilies, some onion. Maybe some cilantro. Is there a little lime in there? There might be. That might be the peach salsa, though. Mm. Huh. All right. And then there's this is a chimichanga, loaded beef nacho chimichanga. Ooh, I'm hitting a wall. Oh. Yeah. Anybody who does mukbangs on a regular basis, you eat this quantity on a regular basis and not get violently ill, this is going to really mess me up. I may have to reheat this. This is kind of cold. So here, we'll put the second empanada there. I will put this. What does empanada mean anyway? I should probably look that up. I always thought nada meant nothing, so not sure that's applicable in this case. Well, I mean, there is a big void in the middle of these things. So maybe it's just filled with air, filled with nothing. No, that's not right. All right, I still have some of those plantains and the yucca plantains. Some of that hot beef or whatever the mess was with this thing. That was not all that great. This wasn't bad. I mean, as much as it's an absurd invention to have a queso chicken, what was it? Dos tacos, queso chicken, nacho, rolled tacos. There is a certain silliness to that. But it's not bad. Certainly better than the microwave burrito garbage. And the enchilada was fairly good. I might reheat the empanada too. So let's see. I might just reheat these three and see what I can get off of them. This. Sure, put that in there too. I had a couple of the fried plantains, and those are all right. I don't think I did them well enough. And I think it's important for me to state that they are too similar to potato pancakes. And I have been somewhat traumatized from my childhood on potatoes at every meal. It's a bit of an exaggeration, but I mean, my mom did as well as she could with what she was able to do, and I love her for it. But if it wasn't a potato, it was rice, and day in, day out, it gets to the point where you start to equate that food with, I don't want to say poverty food, but this is like potato dishes at every meal start to take on a tone of the life you're living at the time. And my mom did really good for us, but she was a school teacher, a single mother to two kids in a region of the country that likes to imagine itself to be well to do. So the fact that she could afford to put meals on the table every day and she worked her butt off to do it, and she worked her butt off to educate the kids that she worked for, that that's a lot of work. But at least in our country, it's a lot of underappreciated work. And so the amount of effort she put in to being a mother and a teacher was not necessarily reflected in pate and caviar, which I am actually kind of glad about because I couldn't stomach either of those either. But um, the meal making, I mean, she's a great cook. I learned how to make a lot of good foods when I was younger, but making a healthy meal involved a meat, a vegetable, and potato or rice. And I guess where I'm going with that is there are a few things you can do to make a different type of rice more palatable, but potatoes, at least the ones we're familiar with, there's a sort of a definite limit on what you can do with potato to make it a tolerable meal. Um, and I've encountered all of them so many times that I have trouble eating potato to this day. I don't even really necessarily like fries. There's a part of me that says I should, and I've had, like, don't get me wrong, I've had some really good stuff every now and then, like a sweet potato fry with, I think it was cinnamon and like a few other things on there. That's pretty good. I've had some fries done with Cajun seasoning, and those were pretty good. But it's like, I don't know that I could sit to a whole plate of them. I've had chili cheese fries, and I'm usually good after like 5 or 6 fries. I just don't have the craving to cram them in my mouth a lot. And so this fried plantain stuff, they're like a potato pancake. And my inclination would almost be to put um, ketchup on them. And like, I also feel like they could go with a breakfast, like eggs and fried plantain. I don't know how it would traditionally be served, and I might look that up and see if, like, I have more of them. This is already a pretty heavy limit for my system and what I can handle. Uh, I'm giving myself a little time here. I will reheat this batch. The chimichanga is on the menu. Um, the yucca, I think I did them wrong. I don't think that's right for them. I feel like they almost need to be deep fried. These have like a ooh, these have like a chipotle seasoning on them. Um, wow, that seasoning is really kind of good. It has a very smoky, spicy bite. I like that. Ooh, I would almost uh, cut those up further. The stringiness of this, is that right? Is that supposed to be like that, or did I do that wrong? Um, I would almost want to add that to a stir fry because I feel like the starchiness of it would help thicken up any sauces that you get from it. The spices and the flavor would add something to it. I mean, I don't know what vegetables I'd throw into that. I mean, I'd probably do some beans, some chicken. Um, I mean, you could do some julienne plantain. I don't know if you could. I'm really bastardizing it at this point, but I mean, the flavor on this isn't bad. Like the flavor of the yucca isn't bad. It's very potatoy for me too, but it's a little more fibrous. There's something about it that's a little fibrous to it. And I think it's supposed to be more deep fried, so it's supposed to be crispier than it is. So I don't think I did that right. But the seasoning on the outside of that is pretty good. And as it by itself, I don't know. I don't know that works as well for me by itself, but in a dish, I could enjoy that. I'm gonna reheat these and see what I can do finishing that off. And if I've got a skosh of space left over, I'll pop the top on that ghost pepper salsa and see how that goes. I'm gonna regret that, aren't I? I'm really gonna regret that. But yeah, do I dare open that, or should I save it for another time? Feel like I feel like it's cheating it. If I feel like it could be its own thing. I don't know. And I also know it's gonna wreck me. It's absolutely like I have a digestive ailment. My body doesn't like this quantity of food alone, even if there was nothing spicy in it, would ruin me for tomorrow. So it's sort of like, well, I mean, if we're gonna be ruined tomorrow anyway, but do I want to also ruin some other day in a few days trying that one separately? Oh, what is that taste? That was fruity. Oh, that's the peach salsa. All right, so I'll be right back. I'll reheat these. Ooh. Come on, you can go faster than that. Go faster than that. Go faster. Okay, just a light reheat, and we're back. And it already cost us 2 minutes of sitting at a screen with nobody there. Ta-da! I'm real good at this, guys. I don't know if you've noticed yet, but I'm really good at this. Well, right off the bat, that's sort of an unfortunate chimichanga casing. It's way softer than it should be. It's not crispy at all. It should be crispy like that. And it tastes oil logged. Like they dropped it in the oil when the oil was not hot enough. It soaked up a lot of that oil. and then they pulled it out before it even crisped. That's unfortunate. I have had microwave enchilada chimichangas that are better than that. I'm a little disappointed, guys. Try the empanada too. The last one was lukewarm at best. Whew. Where is the room? The room. Oh. Yeah, I will be more careful next time. I won't do quite as much. Okay. It does have a more like a dumpling taste. Especially when it's hot, where the flavors come through a little bit better. As a like the onion and other like there's celery in there or something. It's not bad. I kind of like it. I'm sure there's some kind of sauce or something I'm supposed to add to it. Sort of a cross between a dumpling and like a shepherd's pie. Do I dare? Shall we? Finish with one fiery death chip. It's not going to be that bad, I don't think. A portion of the proceeds from this jar of Miss Wren's ghost pepper salsa will be donated to the Chili Pepper Institute at New Mexico State University, a research-based, international, nonprofit organization devoted to education, research, and archiving information related to capsicum. The institute is dedicated to educating the world about the wonders of chili peppers. Their director, Dr. Paul Bosland, worked with the Guinness Book of World Records to clarify to certify the Butjolokia or ghost pepper as the world's hottest pepper. Well, it's not the hottest anymore. I do know that there's like the Carolina Reaper supplanted it, and then after the Carolina Reaper, there's a new one that's come out. I think they're calling it Pepper X or something like that. Does it have anything about what Scoville? It's a gourmet salsa. Oh, I can't get it open. I guess I won't have any. Is there a skin that formed on that? That doesn't seem right. Uh, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that. Best by 03/15/20. I hope that doesn't make me violently ill. I don't know. I don't know. This seems like a very bad idea. I'm just going to be very clear about this. This seems like a bad idea. But if you're going to have a bad idea, might as well do it in the midst of some other bad idea. So, while two wrongs don't make a right, you just have one wrong day. Instead of splitting your wrongs up over multiple days and have multiple wrong days, let's do it. All right. What am I doing? This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. It had a skin. Should it have had a skin on it? Like, does this mold? I didn't see mold. Ah, this seems like a bad idea. This seems all right. Well, we've dipped the chip in it, so let's really juice this up. This is gonna wreck me. This is gonna wreck me. Okay. Ooh. Ow. Okay. Oh. Ooh. Has a little bite to it. I don't know what they're talking about when they say it's spicy. I need to stop talking. Yeah, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. But it does have a bite. Ooh. Don't lick your lips. That just spreads it. Too late now. I mean, it's there. So, okay. So that's not. It's not super bad. Ooh. Wow. Blowing that way is not bad. It's the. That sets everything burning again. Ooh-wee. Holy crap. Yeah, I'm glad I took that last because I can't taste a damn thing. It's kind of good. And it's a spicy that's not a it's a spicy flavor. It's not just pain. Oh, I ate way too much tonight, which is probably good because if this is going to go in on top of all that, it's got a lot to mix with before it goes through the rest of my system. So it might save me. I strongly hope that this wasn't spoiled in some way. I mean, what was that skin about? Like if it's got botulism in it, I don't need that in my life. Ah, so plantain chips, put those aside. We'll probably revisit those later. Yucca, well, yeah, we can put those together. I like that salsa. I'm going to share that with some people. It takes a second to get familiar with it and comfortable with it. All right, we're at an hour and 4 minutes. I have spent a lot of time on the internet tonight, all of it doing videos. I didn't get to peruse some of my favorite sites. That's fine. I actually would enjoy doing this kind of thing. I wish I had a little more comfort with the process of doing this so that I could uh, really get into doing this with chat and interaction. All right. I think I'm going to call it here. And thank you for joining me. Most likely, you're joining me in the archives of these videos. This is a mukbang, so I think first week of February, this set will go up. I think. And I'll I'll make them available that week. So I won't actually do this live. I can't eat this quantity of food more than once every week, and I'm kind of pushing it now. This is something I wouldn't have done but maybe once every 3 months. So this is a bit of an exercise in me exploring this kind of stuff. I will see you for the next one, I guess. Take care of yourselves.